Welcome back to Usapang Bayan, and we still have Miss Jaime Dempsey, the host of Ride and Seek, with us this evening. Jaime, can you give us a sneak peek at what to expect in the 6 episodes, that you've shot here in the Philippines?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be jam-packed. There's a little bit of everything. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of adventure. I do everything from, on the very first day of filming, we did trapeze.
Oh.
And I didn't know I had a fear of heights.
I saw your Instagram post on that.
Yeah, it was really high up there, but that was a lot of fun. So a lot of physical activities like that. In Cebu, I think it was, I was canyoneering waterfalls. That is something I think everybody has to try. It's so beautiful there. And there are a few jumps that you have to make, jumping off the waterfalls. But it's such a thrill, and the surroundings are so beautiful. So things like that. There's also some history involved. I do visit some more historical places like Corregidor, where I learned a little bit about World War II and the Japanese invasion, and then we carried that in through when I went to Bohol. I was in Dagohoy's cave, and where the rebels were hiding from the Japanese, and I learned a little bit about that. And then when we were in Leyte, I also learned that's where General MacArthur had come back to take Philippines back.
When he said, "I shall return."
I shall return. And also seeing a little bit of the devastation still left over from Yolanda, and being able to, I met up with USAID there, and
in
was
Tacloban?
able to, in Tacloban, yes, and was able to help them out with the rebuilding of a school, so I did some painting. So there's so many different activities involved. And then even some crafts that I did. I shot some guns with a very special instructor. That's a surprise. And learned some bolo making, some machete makings. That was really cool. And then what else did I mention? And then there's food as well, interesting food. I was able to harvest some of my own street food, and that was gross. It was, I mean, you literally, so they're Pinoy. Have you heard of the Pinoy?
Penoy.
Penoy, yes. It's a variant of the...
It's like an eel.
Oh, that's different.
How about
Pinoy? It's
No,
an eel.
It's an eel. No, it's different.
It's
different. It's different.
Eel, Pinoy. So it's about this big. It looks like a large worm.
Right.
And in order to harvest them, you have to get into the mud. And I really mean in the mud. I was like waist deep in the mud. And you could feel when your feet are down there, you can feel them moving around your feet and your legs. So you'll see my reaction to how I liked that. And then you have to dig in the mud and get them out. And then I was able to go to the street later on in the afternoon and actually taste what we had harvested earlier in that day. So it was really,
How was the taste of that?
interesting. Having seen them, I was a little like, I don't know about these things. But then once I tasted it, it's kind of barbecue flavor, and it was good.
Well, I also saw some of your Instagram shots with doing some off-road in Corregidor.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had an ATV, so I was nice enough to switch from 2 wheels to 4 wheels and go around the island on the ATV. So that was a lot of fun as well. Yeah.
And the person riding with you in the ATV was pleasant?
Oh, yes, I had a special tour. Yes, special tour. Someone from Veterans Bank gave me a little historical tour on the ATV of the island. So that was really fun. Yeah.
And I think you were also picked up by another friend of yours from the airport.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends involved in the show, so it's really great to be able to work with people that you really enjoy spending time with. So,
what were the most important lessons you have learned in traveling?
I think the most important lesson to learn is to just have an open mind, and when you're going to visit a new place and a new culture, you realize once you become immersed in it that these people that are there are really not that different from you. You know, they have they have the same important things in their lives, their families, their work, they're proud of where they're from, and these are all things that you can relate to. So it's just about keeping an open mind and learning from each other and sharing your culture, and I think the world could use a little bit of that.
Well, it seems like you've been to more places than I have and most Filipinos have. So I think you're quite suited to become an ambassador for us, to promote the tourism in the Philippines. Yes. So amongst all of the activities that you did, I heard you had some other activities, like you had some massage and things like that. So how good was that?
Well, I had a few different kinds of massages. I had some traditional massages, which were great. I had a hot stone massage. It's wonderful. But the most interesting massage I had involved some very large snakes. Very large boa snakes. In fact, and it's funny because the producers of the show like to give me surprises on set. So I had no idea that this was going to happen. And they had arranged it with Cebu City Zoo. And it's something that they do. And they do these kind of things there really so that people can get closer to wildlife and not get to know it, to not be so afraid of it, which I think is great about this kind of zoo. It's not just like, look at these animals in a cage. It's really like get in there and get to know them.
How did that massage go? Were they sort of squeezing you or something like that?
It was funny because I didn't know it was coming, so they told me, oh, take your boots off. So as I'm busy taking my boots off, I don't see that they're bringing these giant snakes over, and I look up and they're right there in front of me, and I was like, oh, okay, what's happening?
Your lunch.
Yeah, so they lay me down and start draping the snakes, and the idea is that as the snakes are kind of moving around your body, you're feeling them like kind of constricting around and moving your muscles at the same time. And the skin of the snake is really, it's not slimy or anything.
It's dry.
It's dry and it's very smooth. And because they're cold-blooded, it's actually quite cool when it's so hot outside and I have these cold snakes on me. It was very refreshing and relaxing.
So when will we start seeing the season 4?
Well, we just finished filming just a couple of days ago, and the next steps are to edit and do the voiceover in the studio. So we need a little bit of time to do that, and the show will be ready to air at the end of August.
At the end of August?
Yes, on the History Channel.
And do you have any other plans beyond, because it's only going to be 6 episodes, right? Here in the Philippines. Where will the other episodes be shot at?
Well, next year, if we're lucky enough to have a season 5, then we're looking at other places. We could reach out and go as far as Japan or Australia, or who knows, I might even be back in the Philippines. I don't know yet.
Season 4 has how many episodes?
6.
Oh, just 6. Oh, okay.
Yeah, each season is only 6 episodes.
Okay. And yeah, go ahead.
Aside from the Philippines, what other countries have you visited, and have you observed similarities in cultures and traditions?
One thing I love to see in every country, and that's, for Ride and Seek, I've mostly been in Asia, and as I mentioned before, Malaysia, Borneo, Philippines, but all across America, Canada, and Europe. The thing I love the most is seeing the bike communities and how similar they are all over the world, and how everybody kind of shares that common thread. Everybody shares the love of 2 wheels, the love of all different kinds of motorcycles.
It's like you have your own support group wherever you go.
Yeah, and it's wherever you go, and I feel that that's with every biker. Wherever you go, like in America, when you see another biker on the road, you kind of give them a little sign, and it's just basically saying, like, we know, we have this in common, we have this common love, and so we've got each other's backs. And that's something that I've noticed all over the world, so it's really, really nice to be able to see that really big bike community everywhere.
Do you have a favorite bike in particular, and what's the most expensive bike you've used?
Oh gosh, I don't know what the most expensive is. There's been a couple of really nice Harleys that I've ridden. Love Harleys. Of course, the bigger bikes are always a lot of fun for me. Wide Glide, 48. Back home, I own a Triumph right now. For me, I really like classic styled bikes. Vintage bikes I always have a love for. But I love all kinds of bikes. Sport bikes, cruisers, scooters, anything, you name it. As long as it's got two wheels, I'm on board.
So Jamie, I know that you know, you're quite busy when there's a shoot going on.
Oh, yeah.
But what do you do when you're not on the show?
Well, it's funny because just before I arrived to film season 4, I was having a big changing moment in my life, and I was thinking, you know, taking stock, what do I want to do with my life, where am I going, and I decided that I wanted to pursue that idea of riding motorcycles safely, and the community within the motorcycle community that's growing the fastest right now is women on motorcycles.
Right.
So female riders, and especially in the States, and it's starting all over the world. But there's not a lot of proper motorcycle gear for women to be riding in. It's not fitting properly. It's mostly made by men's companies and sized down for women. So I decided, I got together with a couple other riders, female riders, and we decided to start a line of clothing for women, specifically protective clothing for women that ride. So when I go back home, I've quit my regular job and I've started this company, and we're launching our line. It's called At Wild, and we're launching this fall. So we'll be sending out clothes for women, and hopefully everybody will be riding safe in them.
It's going to be an online company, right?
Yes, we're going to be online in the beginning at atwild.com, and then hopefully we'll be spreading our distribution out into some stores and motorcycle dealers as well.
When you say at, it's an ampersand or?
No, it's just a regular At Wild. And the idea
yeah.
of it, the company is called At Wild, and it stemmed from this idea of when you're on a motorcycle and you're going into a turn, you're going around this corner, there's that feeling, there's a small feeling of fear, but also it's mixed in with exhilaration as well. And it's that moment, you're kind of in a wild moment, and that's why we call it At Wild. I'm at that wild moment.
And your riding gear is protective as well,
yes,
right?
It's leather is involved. All of it is lined with Kevlar, so it's all abrasion resistant. So should a rider fall off their bike and slide on the pavement, on the concrete, your skin will be saved. Some of
Right.
it also has armor involved in it as well. So really high quality materials.
Talking about skin, I think part of your signature persona is the tattoos that you get.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us how that started, and you know why you like tattoos?
I don't know. I've always been a creative person, and I guess I was drawn to tattoos as a form of expression, but also as I'm kind of a collector of art, so I collect these pieces from various artists. So I don't normally go to just any tattoo artist. I research them and find out their style, what they do, and that kind of thing. And then, of course, my favorite tattoo that I got was in Kalinga by Fang Odd last year. And
That's right.
that's
Okay. Can you zoom in on that? Okay. There you go.
There it is.
What is it? Can you explain to them what that is?
This is a centipede, and what the tattoos represent, well, basically it's a belief that you take on the characteristics of whatever you get tattooed upon you. So the warriors would get these centipedes as a way to inherit their speed, their strength, and their protective armor. So something that warriors would get, and I was honored enough for Fang Odd to believe that I was worthy of such an item. So
Okay.
really
Well, we
proud.
need to have another station break. So please stay tuned. We'll still have Miss Jaime Dempsey with us when we return. Thank you. See, time flies.